Good morning, guys. So, just a quick personal update. We put my grandma in hospice care on Sunday. It's now Tuesday morning. I probably won't be very engaged this week simply because as of last night, they only gave her a few days. So, I'll be managing that. Also, my parents are out of the country, so I am trying to help them get back into the country before anything happens to her. This week for my video discussion, I wanted to talk about discharging patients. We do this a lot in my internship. Our program is typically 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes longer depending on the person, but we really try and aim at that 4 to 6 weeks component of the group. I have 6 people discharging next week, which is insane. We're going to have to get a bunch of new people in for the group because that's about half of my group size right now. But in discharging, my question is do you think we should notify the client as soon as we know that they're discharging, or should we wait until it's closer to their discharge date? I have 2 examples of kind of how it went both ways for letting someone know ahead of time. I have a client who has seizures as well as some anxiety and depression and some anger issues. I think those anger issues are stemming from just change and being uncomfortable. But we let her know that she would be discharging about a week and a half ahead of time. And when we told her, she handled it okay. I mean, there was no, significant reaction to it. She was just like, oh, okay. Well, she ended up going and sitting in our group room by herself, so I went in to let her know that the food for dinner was arrived. If she was hungry, and she said yeah, and then I asked her if she was okay, and she didn't look at me or talk to me or say anything, so I left the room thinking she just needed some space. I went to talk to my supervisor about it and just letting him know that I was concerned because this was similar behavior as to when she had her seizure. So we should probably be more alert to it. No more did I really talk to him, and we start walking back out to the common area. Does she come around the corner in the hallway, bawling her eyes out about how bad she wants to self-harm and none of her coping skills are working. And so we talked to her for a little bit, tried to calm her down. And what it came down to is she really wanted to be able to pay out of pocket for the evening therapy program for a while, which our program is $172 a night. So that's really not an option for her in her situation. Additionally, something I found frustrating is when I was talking to her and asking, did she engage in her coping skills? She had only tried her breathing techniques. She didn't use any of the other ones that she's talked about that have been successful for her. So I was a little frustrated there. And then also I had another client who I told last night at my internship that they would be graduating on Thursday. I thought she was going to have a panic attack, but we were able to keep her calm, and we discussed tonight working on her transition plan. So where is she going to go next? She has a private therapist already, but she wants to be involved in another group. So we were kind of discussing what the options were for her, and tonight we're going to sit down and make an actual, what I'm calling a transition plan for her. She wants to eventually go back to work, but right now with her anxiety, that's not really an option. So we're going to create a plan that's going to set her up to be able to go back to work, which I'm excited about because that is a goal of hers. So between the 2 scenarios, do you guys think it's better to give them plenty of notice, or is it better to give them shorter notice to where we start working with them immediately on a transition plan and get that in place so they don't really have time to think about and get concerned about what happens after group? Since my individuals meet 3 nights a week for about 3 hours, we do take up a pretty big portion of their weeknights. Also, an additional question is, like I said, with the client who didn't try using her coping skills when she needed them, do you have any suggestion for clients who have the coping skills and have used them, but in the moment they don't seem to like translate, like they can't think about it or get into using those coping skills? Any suggestion for how to get those behaviors to become more automatic responses? So thanks and have a great week.